Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session, wherein we shall discuss about 7 strategies for breast cancer prevention and recovery. Now, if we trace about 20-25 years back, cancer was such a rare condition, right? While now we see such a rapid increase in the number of cases. The incidence of breast cancer has been steadily increasing in the last 2 decades, and it is reported that every 4 minutes, an Indian woman is diagnosed with breast cancer, and it is on the rise, more so in the urban areas, which is quite scary. So, what has changed in these last 2 decades? Breast cancer, or for that matter, any cancer, is multifactorial. But majorly, it boils down to the factors related to your own immunity and inflammation. Anything, including poor lifestyle habits, which affect your immunity and lead to inflammation chronically, can make one more susceptible to gene mutation and thus breast cancer. But what is more striking is that there is still so much of unawareness when it comes to identifying the root causes of breast cancer. In fact, in my practice, I have come across so many cases, rather relapse cases, wherein there were so many loopholes in their lifestyle, but they were never addressed. In fact, I remember this case wherein the client had most of the factors, the commonalities that I'm going to talk about shortly related to her lifestyle, but she was absolutely unaware of its possible links with breast cancer, and hers was a relapse case. Hence, it is extremely important to be aware of the possible, causes or commonalities to help with possibly preventing or helping with recovery from breast cancer. And I shall be sharing the same with you all in today's session. All the more because, the month of October is regarded as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Hence, all the more it is, we thought of making this video or this session, related to breast cancer for more awareness related to this topic. Now, what is breast cancer? It is simply a cancer that develops in breast cells. It can stay localized within the breast or may further spread to other parts of the body, causing metastasis. Now, breast cancer cells could be, ER positive, PR positive, or HER2 positive, or even triple negative breast cancer. Now, what does ER or PR positive mean? That means that they have receptors for each of these hormones, which are either estrogen or progesterone, which, when attaches to these receptors, it helps with and fuels the growth of these cancer cells further. Also, contrary to popular belief, breast cancer can happen in both females and males too, as males also have breast tissue, but it is comparatively quite rare. Say about 5 to 10% of breast cancer cases are found to be hereditary, that is, passed on from parent to child. But otherwise, most of it is triggered due to mutations in the gene post birth, due to most of the factors or commonalities that we shall talk about now. So, first risk factor, the commonality that is seen is chronic gut issues, especially constipation and acidity. Now, gut controls about 75 to 80% of our immunity, and a compromised gut, therefore, can weaken immunity, increasing the susceptibility to get cancer. Now, in constipation, the wastes or toxins get accumulated in the body and break down into toxic acids and gases, in turn, increasing the inflammation in the body. Also, excess estrogen hormone is normally excreted out of the system through stools, our bowel movement. But in constipation, it is taken back into the circulation, and this especially can make women susceptible to estrogen positive breast cancers. Hence, it is very important to address any chronic constipation issues and get to the root cause. The root cause could be as simple as having less amount of water, having less amount of fiber in the diet, lack of movement, which can definitely be addressed. And if you can get to that root cause, your constipation can be resolved, and which can very much help with preventing or in fact even healing your breast cancer faster. Even chronic acidity leads to excess inflammation in the body, and chronic inflammation in turn favors growth of cancer cells. Also, having a lot of acidity, acidic pH in the body depletes the nutrients in the body and thus can cause deficiencies, which can further weaken our immunity. Hence, it is extremely important address these gut issues and not ignore them at all. Some people just, they think that taking laxatives for constipation or taking just antacids for acidity solves the issue. No, these are just crutches, which help to, symptomatically help you relieve constipation or acidity for the time being. But we need to address that what exactly is causing the acidity. So, for example, as simple as giving longer meal gaps or, maybe having more of acidic foods or having tea on an empty stomach. These are very, could be the very causes for your acidity. So it's very important to address to get to the root cause of it and address it that way. In fact, you all can watch Luke's and our team's videos on the same separately to help combat, such gut issues. The next, commonality or the factor that we usually see when it comes to breast cancer is one of the root causes that we see is chronic sleep deprivation. Now, if you're sleeping late or for lesser hours, maybe watching your favorite show at night, thinking it is absolutely fine to compromise on sleep, then let me tell you that's not fine at all. I always say that sleep is often underestimated and is considered non-productive by many. Sleep is extremely important for repair and recovery, hormonal balance, rejuvenation of your organs, of your cells, and to strengthen your immunity. Also, what is more important is that sleep deprivation suppresses melatonin, which is the sleep hormone, and also an important anti-cancer hormone at the same time. Now, usually, our normal cells have the ability to self-destroy, which is called as apoptosis, in case there's any abnormality in them. And melatonin helps with the same process. But cancer cells lose this ability of apoptosis, that is self-destruction. So you see, melatonin is extremely important to be secreted, which happens only when you are asleep. So a good quality and quantity of sleep is very, very essential. Try to maintain, regular sleep patterns, go to sleep and wake up at the same time each day. Complete on an average 6 to, 7 to 8 hours of good sleep, so that you feel rested mainly on wake up the next day. Next, we, come to, and that's something that we really see is on the rise, is the root cause for breast cancer is deep rooted, chronic emotional, suppressed emotions. Now, we cannot separate the mind from our body and healing, right? Chronic deep rooted emotions, suppressed emotions ultimately tend to cause hormonal imbalance and thus weaken immunity. Now, how does this actually happen? Now, chronic stress, leads to the levels of the stress hormone cortisol remain high chronically, which in turn decreases certain hormones required for metabolism and immunity, which ultimately leads to decrease in immunity and thus making you more susceptible to cancer, especially breast cancer. Now, we all have some or the other stress at every walk of life, but it is very important to deal with these emotions the right way. Certain emotions, so when I say negative emotions, it's not about our day to day emotions, it's more to do with something which is chronically stressed suppressed inside you. So maybe if someone is undergoing an ugly divorce, or someone has chronically has a sense of guilt, or has a sense of revenge for someone since many years or so suppressed within, that's that's a feeling, that's a negative emotion that can build in and cause, affect your hormones and your immunity. Okay, so we need to deal with these emotions the right way. Certain inexpensive and powerful tools like acceptance and letting go, or having a dialogue to vent out these, those toxic emotions. Uh, Using tools like positive visualization, affirmations, pranayam are very, very important and have proved to be beneficial in dealing with such emotions. So do try them for sure. The fourth commonality or the factor that we usually see when it comes to breast cancer is flaws in nutrition. You know, uh, you are what you eat, and food is information to your genes. So if you eat the right food, it will build your immunity, while if you eat the wrong food, it will hamper your immunity. Okay, it's as simple as that. Now, there are certain foods we need to be very careful about. The first and the most important is we need to, strictly stop having refined white sugar completely, because cancer cells, they feed on sugar. The best example is your PET scan, in itself, because the patient is given a radiated sugar solution, and then, the places where it lights up in the scan is where the cancer cells exist or have their metabolic activity. Also, processed sugar triggers the release of inflammatory cytokines and makes the body extremely acidic, thus weakening the immunity further. So, fine, you will avoid white sugar. But is that all? What about hidden sugars? Sugar actually goes by many names. So you need to look out for any words ending in OFE, example, fructose, sucrose, dextrose on the ingredient labels. Not only that, but be careful with the hidden forms of sugars as well, like high fructose corn syrup, malt syrup, cane crystals, cane sugar, etc., on the packaged foods. In fact, even aerated drinks like your cola have high fructose corn syrup. So it is extremely important to get into the habit of reading the ingredient labels correctly of any packaged food that you buy from your supermarket, from the store. One can, of course, opt for natural sweeteners like organic jaggery, raw honey, dried stevia leaves, but of course in moderation. But refrain from refined white sugar completely. The next factor in terms of foods is trans fat, which is found in food fried in refined oils or reused oils, margarine, cream biscuits, bakery items. Also, refined flour, which is maida, present in biscuits, pizzas, pastas, which that also caters to triggering inflammation. So we really need to be watchful of that. So these days, we do get healthier versions of be it pizzas or pastas, noodles, etc., which are very much available in the market. And you can, in fact, also make your own. You can make things at home as well with the purest of ingredients, wholesome ingredients as well. So we can always look out for that option instead. Now, dairy, when it comes to dairy, which is, milk and milk products, it is extremely important to understand that largely these cattles, buffaloes, cows, are pumped with hormones, mainly estrogen and bovine growth hormones, and with antibiotic injections to increase the yield, which in turn creates inflammation in our body and plays with our hormonal system, and hence puts one at higher risk of especially hormone sensitive, breast cancer. Hence, if you want to opt for dairy, always see to it that it is from an organic grass-fed source and it is made out of 80 A2 cow's milk. Again, over here, we need to keep in mind that it's just not about direct dairy like milk, paneer, curd, butter, etc. But it is also found in packaged and ready ice creams, cakes, chocolates, everything for that matter. So, we need to, everything put together may amount to a lot of hormone dominant dairy that you consume. Hence, we need to be aware of this fact as well and choose your food wisely and in moderation. The fifth factor that we come across or could be a possible trigger or for one of the root causes or contributing causes towards breast cancer is use of chemical laden cosmetics. Now cosmetics are widely used today by both women and men, as they help to of course enhance your beauty. But it is important to note that they are loaded with a lot of harmful chemicals, which could be potential, carcinogens, which are, cancer-causing chemicals, and xenoestrogens, which are, which mimic the estrogen hormone, and thus causing an overload of estrogen, which may disrupt your hormonal balance and make you more susceptible in turn to hormone-sensitive breast cancer. Examples of such chemicals are parabens, phthalates, SLS, formaldehyde, and so on. Also, what we don't realize is that skin application is more dangerous than even eating a toxic substance, because if you ingest a toxic substance through your mouth, the enzymes in the saliva, stomach, liver break it down to some extent into a not so harmful byproduct. But when you apply it externally over the skin, these chemicals get absorbed directly through your skin pores and enter the bloodstream without any filters, which is more detrimental. We do understand that, people in specific professions may require to have some basic makeup on, but then always opt for, chemical free cosmetics and personal care products, which are very much available in the market today. And, try to apply less makeup as much as possible to let the skin also stay clean and breathe from time to time as well. Also, antiperspirants have chemicals that may lead to deactivating the lymph nodes which are under the armpits and block the release of toxins from the armpits, thus causing toxins to build up in the breast as well. So, in case you have to use an antiperspirant, you may want to offer a natural one, or in fact, a natural remedy that you can use is using organic cornstarch or maybe arrowroot powder with a few drops of tea tree essential oil for that cooling effect. So, do try that. The sixth, factor that could be a contributing factor is excessive use or you know of basically hormonal pills. Now, OCPs or oral contraceptive pills are commonly taken not just as a way of contraception but also as a treatment for acne or disorders like PCOS. Also, the use of one-time OCPs is on the rise and is taken mindlessly these days. Apart from that, there are so many females who tend to pop in hormonal pills frequently to maybe delay their periods or for reasons like maybe an upcoming travel or some religious function. Now this is highly detrimental as you are going against the normal flow of your hormones. This may make you more susceptible to especially high risk hormone dominant cancers like that of breast cancer or even cervical cancer. Also, the use of post-menopausal estrogen and progesterone medications to reduce signs of menopause symptoms may pose a higher risk of breast cancer. Hence, you need to take an informed decision, keeping your doctor in loop if you really need to take these, and if there is absolutely a requirement to have these pills, then you also need to be aware of ways to properly, detoxify the body, rejuvenate your body, and need to be more careful of not letting any other estrogen dominant source in your routine through maybe your dairy, cosmetic, even plastics that I'll be talking about. So the seventh commonality or the pointer when it comes to breast cancer is the use of plastic and xenoestrogens. Now, plastic containers, bottles, food packaging, etc., have something called as bisphenol A, BPA, which is extremely harmful as it alters the cell DNA, your gene, which makes your body more susceptible to develop cancer. It is also known as, xenoestrogen, basically which mimics your estrogen hormone in the body and hence further increases the risk of developing estrogen positive breast cancer. Hence, what you can do is to, replace plastic containers with stainless steel or glass or even earthen pots, basically. So these were, your main seven pointers or the commonalities that we come across when it comes to breast cancer. Hence, it is high time that we, introspect and reflect on what out of these seven could be your triggering points, and figure what could have been, what could have gone wrong out of these seven possible triggers, and take steps to correct them right now with discipline and consistency to help to help with recovery, faster recovery from breast cancer, or even better to prevent it in future. In case if you have any queries related to this topic, or you want to know more about our cancer care programs, do visit our website www.lucotino.com. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care.